one representative of each run relay. Over to the ring. We are one of the leading apparel brands in the world, helping define team.
This is the men's Surfboat Finals. 15 boats, 3 laps on an apex course, anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 yards, depending on the course people set. You're looking at Cullen and Wilson on the down beach side, which is typically not the best position, but they're a very, very good team, have done well in the North Jersey circuit. At the far end, white helmets, black rash guard, that's the DeBoer brothers, defending national champion, and they're on the north end. Because of the water conditions here in Cape May, the tide is running very, very strongly left to right. And as you go past the protection of that jetty, the current will rip people right onto the buoys. So people at the north end should have a pretty good advantage. It looks like the DeBoer brothers aren't doing very badly right now. I'll try to identify the boats as we go along. They don't put numbers on these, you know. That might, there's a tangle, that's a little trouble there. And they don't put numbers on, and you know, I fault USLA for not doing that, so you can identify the boats. So for the ordinary viewers, people that are do row a lot, understand who it is. As they head to the buoy, it's beginning to shake out a little bit, sort of like my camera. You can see those white helmets. That's the DeBoer brothers. The first team to the buoy with the white helmets, I think, is Warren Townsend and his partner Chris Kuiper, followed very closely by Cullen and Wilson, who moved very well, and Hawk and Miranda. That's Chris Hawk from Fort Lauderdale and his friend Gonzalo Miranda from Miami. Rowers, doubles partners tend to switch off a lot depending on the conditions, who's nearest, and people's schedule. As they go to the apex, Townsend, Kuiper, and now we're on the way back in. Warren has been a national champion with at least 2 other bowmen. Now he's in the bow. They're the DeBoer brothers. That looks very, very nice. They're rowing well together, and it looks like they have good position going to the beach. To get back to Townsend Kuiper, Warren's partner hurt his back and was out for the season. Chris's partner is in summer school at the University of Delaware. They just kind of hooked up, and it looks like they have a very, very good stroke and are rowing very, very nicely. Chris may be one of the youngest guys in this race. Typically, it takes a long time to learn how to row these boats. You're looking at Hawk and Miranda, another dark boat, white helmets. Those guys are really tan being in Florida. We're coming to the end of the first lap, and it looks like Townsend Kuiper have a very, very nice lead over Cullen and Wilson and Townsend Miranda. They spin the boat around just before the break. Oh, Kuiper's out and up the beach. Nothing like to have a young guy that can make a turnaround. That's looked like Chris Murphy back when their nationals were in San Diego, where Mike O'Donnell got in the lead. They're back out, and they took the boat high. This looks like trouble. Here comes a couple boats. At least one was Green and Elysia. Cullen and Wilson are out. Hawk and Miranda are trying to get turned around. They look reasonably clean. The boat with the orange deck, that will be Matt Nunley, coach of the LaSalle College swim team. His partner, Steve Grober, is a dentist who's a weekend warrior. Someplace hidden in the back is another Monmouth boat. That'd be Dr. Mike Barrows. Honest to goodness, he's another weekend warrior, and he is a pediatric hematologist. As we look as they head to the buoy, you can see the current pulling down, black and white. I think that's one of the Fort Lauderdale boats, probably McCready and his partner Nolan, being closely followed by, I'm not sure who that is, unless that's the DeBoer brothers. Looking out, you can see the current. It looks like these guys are all too high, but what's going to happen as they go past that protection of that jetty, the current is simply going to throw them around, and now you can see one boat's trying to get back a little high, and it's going to get crowded there at the buoy. Guys have sorted it out pretty well. Green and Elysia to the left there. Paul's got that white rash guard on with a white helmet. Makes him reasonably easy to spot. As they go to the buoy, that's Townsend Kuiper. They're right on. Warren spins it. They don't get on. Closely followed by Cullen and Wilson. And then there's space. That's Nunley. He's made up a lot of time. And as Hawk and Miranda go high, and it looks like, Grober and Nunley are hung up against the buoy. Somebody else gets behind. And that breaking the stroke and losing a couple strokes, that's 3 or 4 open boat lengths that you lose easily when something like it happens. End of the second lap. Here come Townsend Kuiper, rowing very nicely, sliding like crew guys. The river rats won't like to hear me say that, but they're rowing very nicely. But Cullen and Wilson off to the right out of the camera have pulled, and actually, that's not them. Here they are. They actually have the lead. Here comes a runner. They're going to try and jump on, and not quite. But Townsend Kuiper have that. It's only about a 3-footer, but it doesn't matter. That's 2 or 3 open boat lengths. Warren spins the boat, and here come Cullen and Wilson. They're trying to get around, not get slammed by that little shore break. The stern man's out. Here come Hawk and Miranda. Kuiper and Towns are already the back. Chris throws himself in. Now, again, Warren has, as the bowman, set the course, taken that high. He's rowing a longer course, but it's apparent that he's betting that staying out of trouble and away from everybody else and using that current is going to give him an advantage. That's boatsmanship. Look at that. They're out. They're clean. They have a lot of room. Nunley's right there. Here comes Green and Eliziev, just the bottom right. The boat with the stripes. That would probably be destined Florida. Grober's back in. And there goes Hawk and Miranda. These guys are very close together. Could be trouble as we look at Townsend and Kuiper as they go back. The Hobie boat, that's going to be Mitch Kahn and Rob Belke. Mitch is over 50. Rob is in the over 40 group, and they are going to be competitive. They row a very high short stroke kind of round and round, but it tends to work for them. But they're working against a lot of really tough younger guys who are rowing specialists. Mitch will be in the paddleboard, he'll be in the surf ski, he'll be in the Ironman. Belke will be in all the swim events. So they're more well-rounded, but everybody wants to win this. Coming to the end of lap 3. Remember, it's clockwise, counterclockwise, and clockwise for the third lap. And it looks like Townsend and Kuiper just have a commanding lead. That little traffic in the middle cost Cullen and Wilson dearly. They're rowing very, very nicely. Out at the buoy, if the cameraman, me, can settle down. It looks like as they come inside that gray and white boat, I think that's Nunley.
Been there for
and there's that will be Hawk and Miranda off to the left, and here comes Towns and Kuiper, and they're rowing very, very nicely. Here comes a little wave. Warren's looking over to see what the course is, where the finish line is. It's going to set it up. Guys are yelling, "Don't do it, don't do it." Sometimes you can't help it. And there they are, off the break. Chris just jumps out, and there's a happy camper. Young guy, first national championship for him. And Towns is going to pull the boat and get out of trouble. Here come Cullen and Wilson, still pulling strongly, and in a clear second place against everybody else. They're out. One guy must stay with the boat. Those are the rules. As other teams other handlers will help them with the boat. Here come Hawk and Miranda on the left, Grober and Nunley on the right. Nunley actually has a little position as they go to the finish line. He's got the inside. He goes out in waist-deep water. Chris waited until we were right in ankle-deep water, jumped out, and just that hairbreadth patience proved very good for him. Here comes Belke, and that's Mitch Kahn running up the beach. I think that's That was the Fort Lauderdale boat. Here comes another Long Branch boat. And I'm beginning to lose track. The DeBoer brothers in that Ohana boat are finishing way back, unfortunately. They had a lot of trouble the last turnaround. Green and Eliziev. Paulie stays with the boat. And the guys are just charging up the beach. And you got a lead blocker and the runners following them without the ball. Doesn't help. But you got to pay attention. These guys are serious even for 9th or 10th place.